Ana from Savvy Cat Realty, and today I will be talking to you about the MLS system here in Portugal and how it operates, what is an MLS system, and how I work as a buyer broker and what is a buyer broker. So the first thing is, what is an MLS system? So an MLS system is basically software that removes the overlap from the market and also does analysis when it comes to medium average prices, what's below market price, what's above market price, and how to calculate the proper price for housing, both for selling and for buying. At the moment, this kind of software is only available for agents in Portugal, so it's not available for the public. And the reason that happens is because the way the market operates here in Portugal, I'm pretty sure that if they made it available for the public, it would kind of cause chaos. And the market would kind of collapse, because the market here operates purely on a seller perspective, and when the buyers are able to have the power to just filter things properly, it would take a lot of power from the agencies and the way they work here in Portugal. But I'm actually looking forward to that. So I just got access to this system like 2 days ago, and I can't tell you yet too much about how it works, but so far I can tell that it includes most of the systems, the websites here in Portugal, like OLX, Idealista, Imo Virtual, and also quite a few agencies. So I'm happy with it so far. It has buying and renting. The renting side seems to be a little less updated or not as on top. I don't know, it may just be me because I only made searches in areas that are not that popular and there isn't that much offer anyway, so that may also be the reason. It does have some very useful tools. I would love to share the screen with you, but I have no idea how to do that here on Facebook. But I do that. I'm willing to do that with my clients, and my clients can do live searches with me while we are on Zoom call and using this software. So that is, I actually haven't told them yet directly because I just got this today ago, and I will be sending that by email to my already signed clients. What else can I tell you about the system? It works pretty well. It's kind of similar to Idealista. It has the map, and you can select a location based on the map. There's quite a few filters, and the filters seem to be working properly, which is always nice. And so far from the searches I made, it seemed to include most of the things that I had already seen outside of it. I'm sure there is probably one or other thing that won't be included, like some smaller agencies or something and things like that. But that's to be expected. They can't know everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm paying for it monthly, a considerable amount, so that's also the reason why it's only for agents. And it will be very useful in my work as a buyer agent. So that moves us to the second part. What is a buyer agent? So a buyer agent is someone that works from the buyer perspective, and that is not common at all in the Portuguese market, as pretty much everyone here works from a seller perspective and works with the seller and gets their commissions with the seller and signs the houses. So what I do is I represent the buyer and the buyer interest. I don't have any portfolio, nor I intend to, as I have all the intentions of being completely unbiased when it comes to portfolios. Given this fact, I can get any property, being private, agency, loan, the bank return, pawn, you name it, I can get it. And in the case it is from an agency, since I'm a licensed agency, I am entitled to part of their commission, and that part will be deducted from the final payment my clients owe me, so my clients never overpay for anything. I do require a fee up front, so my clients do have to pay 25% of my service fee up front. The last 75% are only after the deal is made, and the commission from the agency, if I'm entitled to one, gets discounted from there. My service is pretty much all inclusive. What I do is I help my clients first of all source locations, because I work with a lot of people that are moving to Portugal and are not yet completely sure where they want to live. So I'm location independent, and I include in my services helping my clients find their ideal location. So they give me information on what they are looking for, and that includes all kinds of factors from the price, the type of house, the surroundings they want to live in, the cultural activities, the transport, the climate, and I take all that into consideration and propose to them some locations that I think would be good options, and we work from there. I also include the search, and I obviously use that software that I was just telling you about to help me, but we also do some outside searches when necessary, and we also source directly from our own network. So we may be able, that of course depends on luck and how things go, but I also have my own network of people that I know that are owners, and sometimes I'm able to get off-market properties from my own network of contacts and also provide that to my clients. The next thing I do is visitation. My clients do not have to be in Portugal. I do online visitation with video calls, and they are able to accompany everything. I include screening for possible problems and eventually giving them an idea of what costs that property may incur when it comes to renovations and problems that it may have. And I do this because I have my own experience with my own properties and have developed projects in the past and renovations. And as a property owner, I, know more how to identify a lot of problems. At the moment, I am still working on my own, but I'm one client away from my 10 client limit. And from here on, all the clients will be directed to my agents that are already in place, and they will be directly trained by me. And I will always make sure that the high standard of quality of service will maintain, and I will be always in the background. So if you are working with one of my agents, it will be for one of two reasons. Either they are more knowledgeable than me in the area you are looking for, and they will be better suitable to help you with that, or I'm just full and they are always trained by me, so I make sure they provide a good service and they can ask me when they are not sure how to answer to you. So that's how the service operates. My agents do not work from a commercial perspective. They work from a service perspective, and their objective is to help you find the best deal possible, just as me. Of course, as I said, since my commissions, it's not commissions, my fees are fixed, it's also a way to guarantee to my clients that I have no interest in overselling them. My interest is exactly the opposite, to get them a better deal possible. And I work with them in that regard, offering them several options in order for them to get the best possible deal. The last phases of my I also include in my service assistance they may need with the visas, opening bank accounts, asking for loans, and any other thing they eventually might need help on. We will help as long as we are able to. Of course, there are situations that specialized help is required, like an accountant or a lawyer, or there may be conflict of interest, and when that happens, we will recommend you to do that. But we will always try to mediate whenever possible at no extra cost. Hi Jeanette, how are you today? So the last thing I include in my services is I include assistance with screening and contracts when it comes to renovations and constructions for up to 6 months after the contract is the buying contract is made, so the purchase is finalized. And I still assist my clients with finding the ideal contractors and setting up the contract so the renovation or construction goes as smoothly as possible. And I also help them with the licensing processes and whatever necessary documentation for licensing construction. So yeah, my service is pretty much an all-inclusive services designed for buyers and specialized on expats. I include travel in my services, so it's countrywide. I do not work yet with Azores and Madeira, but I do intend to when I'm able to find an agent there, and we'll see when that happens in the future. And I think that's all for today. Let me see if I can think about anything else I should mention. I will be giving you updates on that MLS software if anything interesting pops up. So far it seems to be working pretty well. And yeah, Jeanette, we can make a call later and I can use it with you so we can see options for you directly from the system. It has a very useful grid that shows the average and below and over market value of property, so it's very useful from an investor perspective. I'm guessing that's how the MLS systems work there in the US, because here it's quite new. I think it was introduced to the market in 2019, but not a lot of people know about it, also because it's for agents only, so most of the public doesn't know. Yeah, thank you. I'm also excited to work with you, and as you know, I'll be going to Algarve in the second week of May, and we may also cross paths there. And I hope we are able to find a really good investment opportunity for you. And this software does seem like it will be a good tool to help on that. So I will be contacting you later to set up a call to do direct search with it, and we can see what interesting options pop up. Because another thing interesting to mention is that the buying market here in Portugal is much more slow-paced than the renting market. The renting market is very, very high-paced. So you will see something listed and within 1 or 2 days, it's already taken. The buying market, there's another interesting thing about that software that just confirmed my suspicions on that, is that basically there are things that stay for 3, 4, 5 years in the market. And for people from the US, that's a bit crazy. I'm working with a client right now that's getting very frustrated because he already chose the property he wants to buy, but the agency is stalling. And I believe they are doing that because the contract they had with the owners of the property is probably already expired, because the property has been in the market for over 600 days or something, so for a very, very long time. And the contracts are usually for 6 months to 1 year periods. So very likely the contract they had has already expired, and now they are trying to get the owners to do a new contract, so they are avoiding to send us all the information. I asked for the documentation of the property so I could check if everything was in order. And of course, that documentation includes the information on the owners because it's written there. And along with it, I asked for the architecture plan of the house, just to, give a better idea to my client of how it is distributed, given that he's not in Portugal and didn't do the visitation with me. And they sent a screenshot of the plans and didn't include any information on the house at all, and are stalling, saying they will send the rest of the documentation later, even though I called them earlier and they said that the plans were the only thing missing. So yeah, they are stalling, and my client is very frustrated because he's very interested in the property and he wants to move on with it, and the ones in charge with the sale are just making it harder. So that is a thing that can happen with the market in Portugal. You will probably notice if you are already making searches in the websites in Portugal that in most cases there are no pictures of the outside, even of the view, which is crazy because sometimes properties have amazing views and they won't put it on picture because that's a way to easily determine where the property is and to bypass the seller agents, because there is no exclusivity here in most cases. And if you are able to find the owner directly, you can just bypass the agents. And that's why they sometimes do these kinds of things and stall, and it can be very frustrating and take a lot more time. I have a lot of US clients and they've been telling me on how properties there get transaction in like 3 days, 1 week. That would never happen here. You probably, if everything goes very smoothly, you will be able to do it in 1 month. 1 week? Very unlikely. Everything takes a long time here in Portugal. Because you also need to book everything with the conservatoria, so that's why we make the transaction registry. And sometimes they take a while, especially now with COVID, it's probably going to be a lengthy process. So do take that into consideration when you are considering buying in Portugal, is that things take time. I would say the average time for searching and buying will be somewhere between 3 months to 6 months, depending on how long you search and how long it takes you to find a property. And after you find a property and you start analyzing everything, I say at least 1 month until things get finalized, but normally probably 2. Depends, because it will depend on the owner availability, the conservatoria availability, and COVID restrictions now. So it's a good thing to take into consideration when you are buying. What else I could tell you now? I wanted to say something else, but I completely forgot. Oh well, it will come back to me eventually. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer. And even if you don't ask them live, I will come back later to the comments. Do let me know if you are watching this live and if you are watching this on replay by leaving me a hashtag live or hashtag replay, and how my information helped you, because I'm really happy that my information is able to help people that are looking to live here to make better decisions and investments, because that's the main reason I started this. I just want to help people make better investments here, because that helps everyone. It helps the internal market be more fair, and it helps the people investing making better investments and spending less. So I think this will be all for today. I'm looking forward for next week. I'll probably be talking about bank NIF, obtaining NIFs, and a bit about the different visas. And that's probably going to be the theme for next week. But I'm still not 100% comfortable. I want to get a bit more information on that, so I'm sure that I'm giving all the right and complete information. So if anyone has any questions, again, feel free to leave them, and see you next week.